What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're back at it for week 2, coming at you here with the On the Dot NFL live stream. Man, that intro gets me a little bit pumped up with the Lamar Jackson spin move. That always gets me riled up right there. Appreciate you guys tuning back in. Week 1 didn't go as planned. We went 2-4 for minus 2.45 units. We are back at it. It is week 2. Optimism is at an all-time high, as it always is on Sunday morning. And always, this show is brought to you, empowered by Occupy Fantasy. Make sure you guys check out the referral link in the description for DFS content, optimizers. They got models. They have every single thing that you need to become a better DFS player. Also, I'll be showing you guys the OccuProp radar and the live odds tab to make sure that you guys get the correct deposit bonuses moving forward as the sports betting industry just continues to grow. So make sure you guys check out Occupy Fantasy, the leading model in the industry and optimizer. I religiously use all of their materials. So make sure you guys check out Occupy Fantasy. And if this is your first time tuning in, we will go through game by game, just a little bit of a breakdown, go through some DFS strategies, who I'm stacking, who I like at each position. And then we'll go through a couple spreads I like. I usually would go through a total, but I don't have a total this week. Got a couple spreads. And then we will go, I got 3 props and then a couple anytime touchdown parlays. So a lot of information going to be thrown at you. I would love if you guys left a comment below if you guys had any particular prop plays that you're looking at, any DFS questions, start sits for fantasy. I'm all yours for the next 15 to 20 minutes. So let's dive in. We got any comments? We got Justin. What's up? Let's go. Week 2, boys. It is the classic week 2 overreaction week, and we get some generous lines on overreaction week, and we're going to try to exploit those. One of them has just been moving. I wish I could have done this stream last night, but this one line just continues to move, which we'll get to. It hasn't moved off the number for me enough to not give it out. So we'll give that out shortly. Let's go game by game. We got the highest total game. We got Chiefs Jaguars, 51 point total. It potentially could rain. I think it's going to be out, or it's going to be after the game though there. So no weather issues there. And this is going to be a game I'm going to stack. It's kind of like the Chargers-Dolphins game last week where it's the highest total and you want to get a piece of this game. However, how hard is it to nail down this Chiefs offense? It's going to be flip a coin. So how I'm doing it, I'm probably going to go 3-by-1 with the Jacksonville side first, going with 3, and then come back with either a Kelsey, hold your breath, Tony, hold your breath, Pacheco, and hope maybe sprinkle in some Sky Moore. But man, your guess is as good as mine on who's going to come back. If you want to be the safest route, you got Kelsey. But then again, this stack is just incredibly expensive too. So be careful what you guys end up with throughout the rest of your lineup if you go this route. But the Chiefs Jaguars, you got to get a piece of this game, just like you had to get a piece of the Chargers Dolphins last week. Raiders Bills, this line has continued to climb down. Bills, I think, started at like 9, and we have the Raiders now plus 7.5. And they don't have Jacoby Myers, so it's a very condensed way that the Raiders are going to get it done today. It's going to be Jacobs and it's going to be Adams. So and if you want to have a sprinkle, you can probably go Renfro there. But the Bills, I think the Bills should roll in this instance. They have a lot to revenge and prove here off of that ugly loss on Monday Night Football, where the whole world saw against the Jets. So give me the Bills. That's a sneaky stack, I guess. I'm getting more of a mini stack out of that game than a full stack. You got the Bears and the Buccaneers. This line confuses me. I want to take the Bears, or I want to tease the Bears up, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to let this one ride. I do like Godwin and Evans in this game. I just have a very, very tough time stacking Baker Mayfield at all. But I think I would lean Godwin to Evans in this matchup with a couple of the Bears defenders. I think their slot guy is out to guard Godwin. And Fields, they said they want to pass more with Fields. I think that they're going to have a couple, just a hard time getting him accustomed to this passing game. He's going to want to tuck it and run. So you can play Fields and I think low risk still. But yeah, this is a game I'm probably just avoiding unless I'm getting to some type of Godwin or Evans in there. Seahawks, Lions, man, this is the everyone wants this game to be a shootout. It was a shootout last year. Gino just burned me last week. If you guys tuned in, I had them as my survivor, and I cannot believe I'm out week one. It was disappointing. But Seahawks, Lions should be high scoring. If you want to go back to that Gino, DK, Lockett, bring it back with a Amon-Ra St. Brown or Gibbs or Montgomery. And if you want to go a cheap piece, a Josh Reynolds isn't terrible there. But that I'm still not getting to that one. My next stack will be the Chargers Titans game. And that is going to be they're 45.5 points right here, over under. I'm going to stack the Chargers side. I'm still very, very optimistic about this offense. The Chargers here with Herbert, Williams, Allen. You don't have Austin Eckler here. You could throw Josh Kelly's like the free square of the week, and he's at 5K. Play him in your low risk, and if you want to play him in your high risk, just make sure you stack and get a little bit different there. And then the run backs. The run backs are the hardest part of this stack because D-Hop is playing. You got Henry, and you have Treylon Burks, who can always pop off. But then you got to rely on Tannehill to throw Hopkins and Burks the ball. So I would not mind if you didn't run anybody back, but I'm going to probably run back with a little bit of Henry or D-Hop here. Then you got the Ravens Bengals. Really pumped to watch this game. Another stack of mine with Raven. I'm gonna stack the Bengals side because I think the Bengals are in a great bounce back spot and only 3-point favorites. The Ravens did not look the greatest against the Texans. Plus, they lost multiple people on the defensive side of the ball, and I think this Bengals team can rebound. You got Joe Burrow with the new haircut. He's always anything that motivates that guy. I'm gonna go back to him here. It's just a very, very expensive stack. So you got Burrow. If you go Higgins, if you go Chase, you're gonna have very, very tough time. If you come back with Zay Flowers, then finding out different parts of those different lineups is going to be tough. But give me the Bengals side here. And then the Packers-Falcons game. This could be a sneaky shootout. I don't see it, though. I could see the Packers side without Watson or Jones. Then you got some cheap pieces, but the Falcons, I lean the Falcons here, and I think that run game between Algier and Bijan should overwhelm this Packers team. Then you got the intriguing Colts-Texans matchup, 39.5 over-under. I'd probably get to this game if it was like a mini stack. I'm not going to full-on stack this game. You could probably do Collins or Woods or Tank Dell, and you come back with Pittman more than likely or Downs. Downs looked pretty dang well last week. Then you can always run Richardson as your low risk quarterback because I think he has the one of the highest floors at the quarterback position in the league so far. It's crazy because it's only his second week. Then a couple 3 o'clock games. We got the 49ers Rams. Puka should play, but I think I lean Atwell to him or Higbee. But the 49ers, man, that team is absolutely loaded. I was so wrong to think that they would go cross country and lay an egg against the Steelers, and even teasing them up to 8.5 last week or 9.5 did not matter. They absolutely rolled. Brock Purdy is the greatest game manager ever. So 49ers, Rams, like the 49ers in that one. Giants, Cardinals. I think this is a great overreaction spot here. 4-point favorites for the Giants only. Just a strange line. Obviously, they get 40-0 on was it Sunday Night Football? Just a sour taste in the public's mouth. And I'm going to go back to the Giants here. You could stack them. 2-0, 3-0, Jones, Waller, Jones, Barkley, and then, don't bring anybody back from the Cardinals. If you wanted to, you could do with Marquise Brown. Jets, Cowboys, probably the Cowboys are going to be the chalk defense. I'm very, very cautious against this Jets offense, obviously, with Zach Wilson. But if you have a strong feeling and you want to go with Garrett Wilson still, or pound those two running backs, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, don't mind that whatsoever. And then the Commanders and the Broncos, probably the most up in the air game, in my opinion. I don't have a strong read on either side. There was reports that the Commanders just didn't want to be in the altitude for very long. So you got to think that might hinder their endurance throughout the game, and the Broncos should just roll. But I'm staying away from this game. I have bits and pieces like Dotson. Dotson's a pretty good option here with Surtain maybe going on McLaurin. But this is a stay away game probably for DFS purposes. So let me know if you guys have any other DFS questions. We'll get rolling. And as always, make sure you guys use that referral link as we get going with Occupy Fantasy with their tools and their OccuProp model and their live odds. So this is just their live odds here. Let me show that to you guys. Incredible tool to easily look at the best lines throughout each sports book. This is free on their website, occupyfantasy.com. Go to the betting tab. You get the live odds. You get the deposit bonuses. So depending on where you're at in the U.S., make sure you guys taking advantage of all of these deposit bonuses, especially as this season starts to roll. Then let's see. We got a couple comments. What do we got? Sad it's to this point, but Tony, OBJ, or Bobby Woods. Woof. That's your week 2 right there. Week 2, Kyle. Tony, OBJ, probably, it's sad to say, but probably Robert Woods is like the safest guy out of those two, or out of those three. Is this for season? I'd assume this is for season long, or this is for DFS. Let me know. We got C. Morgan here. What's up, Corey? Morning, gents. We're ready to get after it for week 2. All right, and we'll get to the OccuProp radar here. Let's get a couple spreads out for you guys, a couple plays here. First one, we are going to go with the Falcons. -105, -3. This is the game that I told you guys was moving. Last night I was going to take it at -1.5, and obviously I wanted to wait for the show, get you guys the bet, get you guys the line that obviously everybody can get, and it's already at the 3. I would not be surprised if it gets to 3.5 or 4. But I think if you see 3.5s or 4s, you're going to see a lot of buybacks. So I think this will stay at 3. But no Jones, no Watson for Green Bay. But this Falcons defense, I think this Falcons defense is absolutely real and elite. And it's going to be a problem for the rest of this league. It's crazy to say because the Falcons would just be horrible in the dome all the time, blowing leads. And I think they finally shored up their defense. So give me the Falcons in that run game. You got to think Ritter is going to play much better this week compared to last week. You got to think they would try to figure out how to target Drake London, target Pitts, but they're just going to run down people's throats. And I think the Packers played very, very well last week against the Bears, but I also think that had to do a lot with the Bears' horrible game plan. And I think the Falcons can take control of this game and get ahead early and stay ahead. As Jordan Love has dubs and Jalen Reed. Musgraves is a good option as well, but I just don't think it's going to be enough against this Falcons defense plus this Falcons run game. What do we got here? So Kyle says, not DFS, Watson out, making me choose one of those for the fantasy league. Okay. So to his point, we got OBJ, Tony, or Bobby Woods. Man, you can't go back with Tony. I think that's just he's got nowhere to go but up. But I still think I go Robert Woods here. Should be a close matchup. And it looks like C.J. Stroud trusts the veteran receiver there. I think he's a good, safe floor play. You're just trying to get points. If you want to go ceiling, obviously I think it would be Tony. OBJ could have some deep balls in that game, but obviously I think they with Andrews back, they love Flowers there. Let's go Robert Woods. All right, next play, we're going to go with we got a couple favorites. We're going to go Giants -4, the great overreaction line here. I'll take 4. if somehow this gets to 3, I don't believe it will, but if this somehow gets to 3, I would scream and make that, a multi-unit play. But this Giants team should roll. This team is nothing like their week 1 performance. Everyone was very high on this team. Everyone thinks that the Cardinals are still, obviously they're tanking, and they're not going to be. They play pretty dang hard. Week 1, I think every week after that, it's going to be a little bit more of a tank show for the Cardinals. And I think this Giants team is out to prove a lot of the haters wrong. -4, I think, is a gift from the sports books here. So let me get the Giants. You got Daniel Jones is going to rebound. Saquon's going to have a big game, and Waller looks to be incredibly healthy. So we're going the Giants against this Cardinals team. Let me know in the comments of what you guys think of this line. I just think it's the most wrong line of the week with the Giants, and maybe it's a trap game. Maybe it's a trap, but I don't see it off of that performance on Sunday night against the world. They're going to come back and get after it against this hideous Cardinals team. And then, as always, I give you guys one VIP play every single show because I absolutely love that you guys tune in each and every Sunday morning. And we didn't hit this teaser last week, but I blame myself with that Steelers because I just didn't. I bit on that preseason hype. I bit on it, and it eats me. It eats me still that I did that. But I followed the rules and of the long teaser, and you got to tease those teams up. And then you think at home, cross-country matchup against the 49ers, but they're just damn good. So now let's go. We're going to go all favorites and tease them down. And this is, I think you can get some better lines here. I think so. The Bills, you can even get to like a pick 'em. This was I put this to VIP a couple days ago, but the Cowboys 2.5, Bills 1.5, and the 49ers pretty much a pick 'em. 7-point teaser, 1.5 units. Absolutely love this. And actually, if you start teasing the favorites down through 3 and 7, it's actually a better percentage to hit than teasing those dogs up in lower over-under matchups. So I feel very, very confident in this one. Good with I think the only game I'd be shocked if something happened, and it would be the Bills. Somehow, some way that the Bills just absolutely lay another egg. I just don't see it at home against the Raiders. I think the Raiders are pretty obvious team. You got to stop Adams, you got to stop Jacobs, and go from there. So Cowboys should roll, Bills should roll, 49ers absolutely should roll against the Rams. But yeah, 7-point teaser, VIP play for you guys. If you guys want any more VIP plays, make sure you guys check out the link below and join the Discord. And hit me up in my DMs. I'm always down to give out promo codes. So hit me up in my DMs on Twitter @.bets to join the premium Discord for all the VIP plays. All right, so now let's go to some props. I want to hear from you guys. If you guys have any props that you guys are looking at, love to talk props. All right, and I'm going to go back to somebody that burned me. I mean, I was high on this guy all damn offseason long, and we're going to bring up Occupy Fantasy's Occuprop Radar, and we're going to search for my guy, Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, we're going to go Jahmyr Gibbs, and the line, the play we're going to go with. We're not going to take his receiving yards. We're not going to take his rushing yards. We're going to take both. All right, over 66.5 rush plus receiving yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. And if you go here on Occuprop Radar on Occupy Fantasy's website, simply click total rushing and receiving yards. Actually, it's 69.5. So I literally just made this at 850 this time, and now it's up to 69.5. So go ahead, take 69.5 because you can see it's the best line on FanDuel. But yeah, it was 71.5 across the board, and it was 66.5 on FanDuel. So I'll grade it at 69.5. So that jumped up. And this comes on reports that obviously they were easing Jahmyr Gibbs into week 1. And I get that. It's understandable. I don't think Montgomery can handle all of the work that he did that week. But I also think this has to do with the way Seattle plays defense. And they play a lot of coverage or a zone coverage. And Jahmyr Gibbs should eat that up, especially in the receiving. But I just think that he's too elusive, and he can definitely get off on some zone coverage this week. So I'm going to kind of like the Swift play on Thursday night. Liked his receiving yards a little bit more than I liked his rushing yards, and you could see he went one of two ways. So I'm going. I could see this Gibbs going a little bit more on the receiving yards, and he might absolutely break off a big one on the rush, and you'd be screwed. So I'm taking both rush plus receiving yards over 66 or 69.5 now on FanDuel. Let me know what you guys think on that one. And we are going to go to the Vegas Buffalo game, and we're going to go to Josh Jacobs. Like I said, Adams and Josh Jacobs should get a ton of run, and I think this number is incredibly too low. So we got receiving yards. So this one actually went down. So it was actually 17.5 across the board. Now you can get on PointsBet 15.5 for his receiving yards. I got it at 16.5. But if you have PointsBet, if you don't, use that deposit bonus on Occupy Fantasy's website. But Josh Jacobs over 16.5 receiving yards, I think is just a great play. Last week, he had 2 receptions for 23 yards against the Broncos. However, he didn't play all of training camp. Thought they were just kind of easing him in. Didn't get too much. For target-wise, I think he's going to. I think he only had 3 targets. And this is a guy that consistently had probably 5, 6 to 7. Now we are down an additional receiver. I really think that this Bills team can pressure Jimmy G, and you're going to have to get the ball out quick. Josh Jacobs, 16.5 receiving yards, I think is a great option to go there. All of Devontae's lines are pretty stacked. They're pretty high up there. Obviously, you're going to pay up for a wide receiver 1 when the wide receiver 2 is out. But I think this is the correct way to attack Jacobs in this instance. All right, and we'll get to our last one, which is very, very it's one that popped up to me as I was going through. I always use props.cash as well to go through everything. And this was, let's pull up on the OccuProp. We're going to go to Trevor Lawrence's rush yards. And if you didn't know, he had the second most design runs of week 1 behind Anthony Richardson. Richardson had like 10 or something like that. And Lawrence had 6. So I'm going to his rush yards here. You can see total passing rushes. Where are they at? Total rushing attempts, total rushing yards. So it's 15.5 on PointsBet. If you got PointsBet, if you don't, hit that deposit bonus link here. But we're going Trevor Lawrence over 16.5. I got that on FanDuel. Rushing over 16.5 rush yards, minus 113 for 1 unit. A play here that you got Chris Jones back for the Chiefs, thinking they're either going to have more design runs for Trevor, or he's going to get enough pressure to scramble and make plays, extend drives with his legs. I think this Lawrence play is a sneaky play because you don't think about it as much, and you saw him air it out to Ridley. You saw him air it out to Zay Jones. Obviously, a lot of people think Chris Kirk can bounce back, but with Trevor here, I think this is a great matchup, especially with the addition of Chris Jones back, that he's going to have to extend drives with his legs. So 16.5 rush yards for Trevor. You got Josh Jacobs, 16.5 receiving yards, and then 66.5 rush plus receiving yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. We got a couple. We'll be here for another 5 to 10 minutes or so. We'll go over a couple anytime touchdowns. Love to hear from you guys. If you guys have any DFS questions, props, or fantasy start sit questions. And one guy that I was, high on with the Giants, we are going to go target him on the touchdown for the week. I think he's my favorite lock of the week for that. And so my touchdown play is going to be Saquon, who is at plus 100. And this one kind of surprised me because we're going to pull up OccuProp's radar one more time. And if you see his to score a touchdown, everywhere else it's minus. You got even Caesars at minus 150. Or sorry, yes, Caesars minus 140, BetMGM minus 150, plus 100 even money on DK. Obviously, you're going to take that on DraftKings. You just look at the wide range here, and it surprises me that DK is having an even money number out there. But I would say this is my famous saying is these sports books are always give out free money. You just have to go find it. You got to go find it. And this is one that I think is just completely free as they come. All right, we got a comment from Rob. Appreciate you tuning back in. We got thoughts on McCaffrey over 29.5 receiving yards. Let me go check that out for you real quick. Initially, I would say I'm all for that. You got to still think that this front four for the Rams can still get after people. They showed it last week with Geno Smith. Aaron Donald has came out and basically said he's treating this as his rookie season. He's got to prove to people that he's elite again. So he's going to be getting after the quarterbacks. And you get after Brock Purdy, he's going to have to dump it off. And you're going to have design runs and plays for Christian McCaffrey all day long. It's just surprising because the last 4 games for the 49ers, he has not cleared 20. He's not even cleared 30. He's 17, 22, 22, and 17. He obviously had that big run last week for them. I'm always a big component of attacking CMC's receiving yards when I do go after him because I think he's so elusive in the pass game. So I'd be okay with taking McCaffrey here over 29.5. No problem there. All right, so back to Saquon real quick. And you got his anytime touchdown plus 100 because you saw the wide range of lines there. And then I'm also taking his first touchdown to be scored in that game. And that's plus 500 over on DK for 0.25 units. So I'm heavily invested in this Giants game, heavily invested with Saquon Barkley. I think they're going to get after him, and Saquon's going to be a big part of the reason in Arizona. All right, and then I'm going to give out a 3-leg anytime touchdown parlay. We weren't even close last week. I don't even think one of them hit, but that's the nature of anytime touchdown parlays. You're going to hit. You're going to be 2 of 3, 1 of 3, 0 and 3 sometimes. Majority of the time, 0 and 3. But when we get those 3 of 3s, it pays off for sure. We got another comment here. We got Corey Ramondre over Terry at flex to full PPR. Great question. Absolutely great question. Let's see. I'm leaning here because I said at the top of the show, I'm confused on this Commanders aspect of what they're trying to do by not going to the altitude very, very. Usually a lot of people can try to get there early, get accustomed to it. They're doing it the exact opposite way. And then you also have, Patrick Surtain, who not shut down Devontae Adams, but he is the elite cornerback in the league. Probably not going to shadow Terry because Terry can play across the field, but he will be on him at times. And then you also, have the Monday night game or Sunday night game with the Dolphins, Patriots, and I think Stevenson he had such a quietly good game. And in this instance, I'll take Ramondre over Terry at the flex because I still think Ramondre is elite in the pass game. Zeke led week 1 in targets. That's just crazy to me. Even said, if you thought that, raise your hand on Twitter. There's just no way it's going to happen again. I think Ramondre is going to be a big part of this team. You saw him early on getting steamed in best balls and drafts, and then all of a sudden they signed Zeke. And I get that week 1, but here's the overreaction of week 1 with Zeke having 7 targets. This is still Stevenson's backfield, and Surtain always surprises me and always locks those guys down. So Ramondre over Terry for me. Important to add. Okay, yeah, this makes even more sense. I would 100% start Dotson over Terry, I think, in my opinion, just because of the Surtain. And you got Ramondre on top of that. Yeah, I'm good with that. For sure. The last anytime touchdown, and then we will get up on out of here. So if you guys have any additional questions, throw them in the chat. We are going to go another one with Barkley in it. Barkley, Richardson, and the free square of the week, Josh Kelly. Plus 918 on FanDuel for 0.25 units. What I always like to do, I like to build them in separate sports books and see where you can get the best ones at. And this one came out to the best one in FanDuel because of Josh Kelly is plus 105 there instead of he's like minus 120 on DK. We got another comment. Robinson over 17.5 receiving yards. Is that Bijan or is that Brian? Let me know on that. But yeah, Barkley, Richardson, and Josh Kelly plus 918. Let me know who your guys' anytime touchdown plays are as well. I always build a 5-leg as well, and that'll be in the Discord. I give those out to the Discord because if we hit big, I like to show it off that we hit big in the Discord. So Barkley, Richardson, Kelly. I think Anthony Richardson can score twice today. They have Zach Moss back, but Richardson is their guy for sure. Okay, so he said Bijan over 17.5 receiving yards. Don't hate it. And he's a guy that I'm probably leaning more towards getting into my lineups this week for DFS because he's too expensive. So when I was building my initial lineups, he just didn't pop into it. But I think I'm gonna have to manually put him in some and manipulate that. And for Robinson over 17.5, said this multiple times as well. Algier and then even a report that came out from Rappaport this morning, they're going to split carries. But Bijan is that good of a receiver that they can afford Algier to take all of the hits and Bijan get him out in open space, especially receiving and get there. So over 17.5 is a good angle here. And then we got Justin again. He's on Musgraves. Yeah, Musgraves. That was a VIP play I gave out. So that's another one I give out for the stream for you guys to showing up. Appreciate that. And Pittman over 54.5. That he's a sneaky play today. I think this whole Colts Texans game, it could be a bloodbath. It could be a lot of points scored, or this Texans offensive line is obviously in chaos. So you could see the Colts defense be something here. But I think Richardson, the more reps he gets under his belt, I think Pittman, Downs, Pierce, they're going to be options. And right now you're going to get a lot of these props at an affordable number because their sports books are like, hey, we can't set it too high. Everyone's going to hit those unders. So I think this is a pretty good number, 54.5 for Pittman. I think he had like 10 or 11 targets last week for this Colts team. And like I said, I like Richardson in low risk options for DFS. I'm taking him to score a touchdown. I think it's plus 135 if you want to take him just straight up. But Musgrave, that's a great angle there with no Jones. If Musgrave's missed like 2 big plays too, he is heavily involved in this offense, and there is multiple reports in training camp that he was the guy there. He was going to play basically 95+% of the snaps and run a ton of routes, and that has come to fruition after week 1. That's one of those cases where I don't think we're overreacting to that because it was all training camp long and it showed on week 1. And now they're out Watson, they're out Jones, it's Dubs, Reed, and Musgraves. Can Jordan Love do it again? That's the question. But I still think we can bet on that for Musgraves. Corey says, cheers, let's have a day. Optimism is at an all-time high, as always, on Sunday mornings. Let's hope it trickles to some afternoon sweats, into some evening sweats. But yeah, I'm excited. Let's have a day. We're going to get after week 2. If you guys have any additional questions, make sure you guys hit up the Discord in the link below on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit the like button on this video. I appreciate the support every single Sunday morning that you guys keep showing me and showing up to the show. So with that, we'll get up on out of here. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys go check out Occupy Fantasy and sign up. Use my referral link in the description below. Let's have a day. See you guys.